Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, folks. Welcome in. We are so thrilled to see you all here today for our Vasion Signature webinar. My name is Katie Frank, and I'll be moderating for our Senior Product Manager, Angela Wyrick, and Channel Manager, Ethan Jansen. We'll be hosting a Q&A session at the end of the presentation, so be sure to submit your questions via the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Without further ado, Angela, take it away.
Thank you, Katie. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. In this webinar, we're going to go through the Vasion Signature overview and do a demo of that product, discuss the unique selling proposition and pricing for the new product, do a walkthrough of adding Vasion licenses in the MSP portal, and at the end, we'll have some time for Q&A. Let's jump right in with the overview of the Vasion Signature application and walk through some of the use cases and do a quick demo of the functionality. So we have a question up here at the top of our slide. Who needs e-signature? And if you don't know the answer, we have a hint there for it is everyone. So everybody needs e-signature applications. Every company, large or small, needs to send documents out for signatures. And whether you do this monthly, weekly, daily, or even hourly, digitizing your signature process is going to help you. It'll help you save time because you'll no longer need to be face-to-face with your customers, clients, to get their signatures or wait for mail to be received, signed, and returned. You'll save money because you won't be printing out paper forms, paying shipping, or finding a place to store all of your completed paperwork. And you'll build customer trust by showing your customers that you've evolved past outdated manual signing processes and moved towards innovation. Electronic signatures and other types of innovation help you put your best foot forward by using the latest technology and tools to digitize yours and your customers' signing experience. I think everyone agrees that getting rid of paper signature processes is a good thing and something we all need to do. But the bigger problem is all of the options that companies have, they come with high cost and high complexity, and this is where you can help. Not only can you help your customers be more efficient and streamline their business processes, but you can also save them time and money. Some of the differentiators for the Vasion signature application is that we're more cost effective when compared to the competitors. We also have advanced features like bulk send and single sign-on as part of our core functionality at no extra cost. And it's very easy to use for everyone who creates documents to be signed all the way to the end user who signs those documents. In order for the product to be viable on the market, we've ensured that the Vasion signature is legally binding. It complies with the e-Signature Act and other regulations. We provide an audit trail for each step in the process, and we keep your data secure by using the latest technology with SSL encryption. I think we can also agree that you're here talking to us or listening to us because you are making money selling the PrinterLogic products to your customer. The Vasion signature is another tool that we want you to add to your toolbox and just another opportunity to make more money. Some of those opportunities are increased revenue for you, become stickier with your customer, help your customers improve their processes, and it's good to note that there's no professional services required for setup or use of this application. I also want to talk about our future opportunities. Vasion Signature has a very strong future, and you can be part of that by providing feedback to the application and sending requests for new features. We already have been in preview and have been working with some early adopter customers and have been able to generate a pretty robust roadmap for the future of the signature application. And it's also part of a larger Vasion Automation Cloud platform, which I'm going to describe more in the next slide. The Vasion Automation Cloud is a platform designed to help businesses with process automation and integration. Signature is just the first application that we are going to deliver as part of the platform, but as you can see in this slide, there are other applications being developed which will also be part of the Vasion Automation Cloud offering. The platform will release next year and is going to continue to grow over time as we add additional applications and integrations. But we're here to talk about signature, so let's get back to the Vasion signature application. This application has three main processes that we support, and it all starts by uploading a document that you need to be signed. The first process is for a single signer. So that's a simple contract or an agreement that goes to one person that needs to sign the document and then send that signature back to the initiator. We also support multi-signer, and you can do that in an ordered fashion where you determine the order of the signers, or you can send it out to all of the signers to be signed at the same time, and there's no limit on those signers. And then our last process is the bulk signing, and that's when you have one document that you need to send out to many users, each who need to sign their own copy. They shouldn't see any information about any of the other signers or any of the other signers' documents. And this feature can be used for things like non-compete agreements, permission slips, consent forms, and things like that. Building off the previous slide and the processes that were discussed in that last slide, this is the specific use case messaging that you can pass along to your customers. For a single signer process, use the Vasion signature application to simplify routing agreements and contracts to your customers, allowing them to sign from any device. And for multi-signer processes, digitize property management agreements using the Vasion signature application by uploading the PDF document and configuring it to send to one or more signing parties, where you control the order of the signers. All transactions on the document are tracked to provide an audit trail. And lastly, for the bulk signer process, administrators and teachers will appreciate the easy solution for configuring the bulk signer feature in Vasion Signature to help reduce cost and time for lost or forgotten permission slips sent to all parents in one simple e-signature process. This is an example of just a few use cases by a few verticals that we are targeting. But what we've found as we've talked to our customers is that the verticals and the use cases are endless, which further validates what I said at the beginning, and that is that Vasion Signature is for everyone. You will also find these use cases and stories in our solution brief, which will be shared with you after this webinar. Now for the fun part, I'm going to actually give you a quick demo of the basic functionality of Vasion Signature. When you log into Vasion Signature, you are brought to a landing page, which is your inbox, and here you will see any documents that are waiting for you to sign. If you want to create a new document to send for signature, you click on the Start New button. And then you'll have an option to choose standard or bulk. We're going to go ahead and choose standard. And then we're going to click continue. When you get into this screen, this is the screen where you assign the signers that are going to get this document, but there are a few configurations that we're going to talk about first. The first one is whether you want to set the order of the signers, and you can do that, or you can send it to everyone at the same time like I said earlier. The second one here is to display the timestamp on all the signatures, which is pretty self-explanatory. And the third one is if you want the document to be certified. That means it's going to go out through an HSM to a third party to apply a certificate, ensuring that no one has modified the document since it was signed. And so you have the option to choose any of those or all of those. And then you're going to assign the signers. So in this case, I have two signers, Angela Wyrick, which is me, and I'm an internal user of the application. That means I have a login to the Vasion Signature application. And so when you started typing Angela Wyrick, it would bring up my name and it would bring up my email, and you could just select it. But the second signer here, Andrea Ballard, is what I call an external user. That means they're going to sign a document, but they're not part of my organization. I don't have to create a user account for Andrea in order for her to sign the document. And once you have all of your signers and your configuration set, you're going to click on the next button. This is going to bring you into your Create Document step, where you're going to configure your document for signing. So the first thing you need to do is either drag your document in or click to upload a new document. When you click to upload, it's going to take you to your files, and you can choose from any file that you have access to. You're just going to click on the document, and it will bring it into our document viewer page, where you can see at the bottom of this document, I have a place for 2 signatures, one for my company and one for my client. So the first thing you want to do is choose your first signer that you want to configure. So you click in the assigned signer box and you choose the signer. So I started with Angela Wyrick myself, and I'm going to then drag the signature down to the bottom where the company signature goes. But you can see here that you can do more than just signature. We also have initials, text, which would include things like companies, titles, and a bunch of other presets that we have for text or custom text. And then we also have date and checkbox. So you're just going to take that signature box and you're going to drag it down and draw it down where you want it on your form. And once you've created all of the fields for that person, you're going to click the next person and choose, so in this case, Andrea Ballard. And I'm going to do the same thing where I drag signature down into the client signature box. So Angela's going to sign under the company signature, and Andrea is going to sign in the client signature. And then I just click on next, and it's going to take me to review and send. In the review and send page, you can just click send for signing, but there are a couple other things that I want to showcase here. You can update the document name and create a message for your signer if you want to, and you can also verify your configuration. So I went ahead and changed my file name and added a little message for my signer. But you also can add a CC recipient, and that's nice if you have an office manager or someone who needs to get that final signed copy. You can just click on add CC, put in their email address, and they will get that final copy after everybody is signed. And that's all there is to it to get it from start to send. The next thing I'm going to show you is what it looks like for the signer. But first, I forgot to click on the send for signature. When I click on send for signature, it brings me into my sent box or my sent folder, and it's showing me that that document was sent for signature. And this is a great tool because as people start to sign these documents, this screen gets updated and you can see the status of these signature documents all along the way. You can open them up and look at more details, or you also are getting emails as people are signing that you can click on as well. But now I'm going to show you what it looks like for the signer. So for the signer, they will get an email. So I'm in Andrea Ballard's email here, and I see that I got a message from Angela Wyrick. She sent me a document to sign. So I'll click on that, and it's going to bring me to an email. And in that email, I can click on the review document box. That uses a single-use token to get me into the application and allows me to sign only in the area that was assigned to my email. So you can see down in the corner there is a blue sign box. I just click on sign and I will have this pop up that will allow me to upload, draw, or type my signature. I'm going to go ahead and select draw. I can draw the signature with my mouse, and then I can click the sign button. When I click sign, it's going to bring me back to the document. Maybe I had 5 or 6 other fields I needed to enter data into. Once I've completed all of those fields, I can click on complete. And when I get into complete, I see a consent to sign message that lets me know that this is a legally binding document. I'm going to click I agree, and then I'll get this message that you're all done. See how easy that was? Hope you're thinking of all the different ways this application could fit into yours or your customer's signature processes. I'm going to turn the time over now to Ethan to discuss the unique selling proposition and pricing.
Thank you, Angela. Thanks for doing that demo as well. And just to mention this again, at the bottom of your Zoom meeting, there's a Q&A button. So if you have any questions about the demo that Angela just showed, please feel free to click on that Q&A section and put your questions in there, and we'll definitely address those at the end. And then if you have any questions about the pricing or the positioning statements that we're about to talk about, you can put those questions in there as well. So some of these things Angela had mentioned earlier, but I wanted to reiterate them and maybe elaborate on them a little bit. So first one, Vasion Signature is really a great opportunity for MSP partners like yourself to have a new revenue stream, right? I meet with MSPs regularly, and I discuss the PrinterLogic solution, but I also talk about our Vasion Signature offering. And from the feedback that I've received, e-signature is not really a tool that's included in most managed services, most portfolios of our MSP partners. And typically it's not something that would come to mind as a managed service that's provided by an outsourced IT company, right? But because of the way that we're going to market with this Vasion Signature tool, inside of your MSP portal, you're going to be able to offer this e-signature option and add another revenue stream and find another way to make money using Vasion and PrinterLogic. The next thing I wanted to elaborate on was the low implementation overhead. So in just a second, Angela is going to go through a demo of the MSP portal and show how you can offer this to your customers. But just as she had said earlier, there's no professional services required for this solution. Just as easily as you can implement a PrinterLogic solution for your customers, as you can generate an instance for them inside of your MSP portal, you'll be able to do that for Vasion Signature as well. And then going along with that, with the demo that we just saw, with how Angela was able to configure those documents and send that out for signature, it's very simple and easy to learn. It's not something that you're going to have to spend a lot of time with your customers teaching them how to use. You can see like that demo that Angela provided only took maybe 4 minutes, 5 minutes. And it's very simple, intuitive, and your customers, once you give them the access that they need, then they'll immediately be able to go in and start sending out those documents for signature. And again, as she mentioned, it's a way to become stickier with your customers. I think we can all universally agree that the more products that you're offering to your customers and the more solutions that you provide to them, the more likely they are to stick with you long term and become a revenue source long term. And then finally, with that Vasion Automation Cloud that Angela had shown, there's a lot of opportunity with Vasion going forward. There's a lot of ways that Vasion, as we add those additional modules and other tools and solutions, that you'll be able to roll those out to your customers and further help them digitize their workflows and provide a lot more value. And so as you start to use the e-signature tool, you can dip your toe in that and learn the interface, learn how things work, and be even more prepared for the rest of the Automation Cloud suite. So here with pricing, probably a question on most people's mind at this point. The pricing is going to differ slightly from how we license PrinterLogic. As you're familiar with, PrinterLogic is licensed based off of print queues, so essentially the printers that you're managing for those customers. With Vasion, with e-signature, instead it's going to be licensed based off of users. So admin users, basically any user who is creating or has the ability to create those documents and initiate those documents inside of Vasion Signature, those users would consume a license. But that is the only cost associated with it. There's no limits on how many signers, there's no limits on how many documents can be sent out. We're not looking to nickel and dime anywhere. We just will have one flat cost for each user. And going along with that, we're going to have tiers for pricing, so similar to the PrinterLogic tiers that we offer, tiers at $25, $50, and so on. As you increase the number of users that you're offering Vasion Signature to, the number of customers that you're using it with, your price will continue to go down and help you make a little bit more money off of reselling each of those licenses. And so with that, I will pass it back over to Angela, and we can look at how we can use that in the MSP portal.
Thanks, Ethan. I'm going to take a few more minutes and show you how we've incorporated the new Vasion Signature application into the MSP portal. Currently, you're using the MSP portal to create and manage your PrinterLogic accounts. And we've modified the MSP portal to allow you to also add Vasion accounts. You're going to be able to add Vasion instances to existing MSP customers who use PrinterLogic. You're going to be able to add new Vasion instances for new customers that don't necessarily use PrinterLogic. And you're going to be able to add new PrinterLogic and Vasion instances at the same time. So if you have a new customer that wants to use both, then we've made that easy so you don't have to do it multiple times. And the MSP portal has also been updated to display Vasion license information and usage information alongside of the PrinterLogic license and usage data. So let me show you what it's going to look like. All right, so our first scenario, again, was to add Vasion instances to an existing MSP customer. So I've gone into the MSP portal and I've opened up an existing PrinterLogic customer, and you can see now that there's a new button that says Add Vasion Instance. So we're going to click on Add Vasion Instance, and then we're going to enter the number of licenses. So the Vasion licenses are not coming out of your PrinterLogic minimum commit. These are going to be handled separately. So just a note so that you don't confuse these with PrinterLogic licenses. So you'll just go ahead and enter the number of licenses, and then once you've done that, you can click on Add. And when you click on Add, you'll notice that now on this customer, you have a new button that says click to log in or log into Vasion. So if you click on that, it's going to take you to a one-time setup of the admin account. This is the admin for that instance of the Vasion, the Vasion signature application. And this administrator will have administrator rights and also be able to see the data. So you'll have to negotiate with your customers whether you're going to be the admin user or they're going to be the admin user based on the data that they may need to keep private. But you'll fill out all this information about the user and you'll click Save. And once you do that, you'll be logged into the application. And you can see here, you can click on the admin, which will take you into the admin application to create additional users, assign the roles for signature. And we're not going to go through that whole process, but training videos will be provided later so you can see how to create users and assign roles. So now we're going to go into our second scenario, which is adding a brand new Vasion instance. New customer, they're not using PrinterLogic right now, but they do want to use Vasion. You will just click on the new button within your MSP portal, and when you create that new account, the first thing you're going to do is select the product. So before, it always just defaulted to PrinterLogic. Now you'll click Select Product, you'll choose Vasion, and you'll fill out the information about the customer, and you'll click Next. This will bring up your license allocation. You'll enter the number of licenses you want to allocate to this customer, and you'll click on Create Account. Again, you'll see that Login to Vasion button, and you can now click on that and go and create the admin user like I showed you in the previous slides for our scenario 1. I'm not going to show that again. So now we'll go to our scenario 3, which is adding both Vasion and PrinterLogic at the same time. So again, you'll click on the new, you'll select the product, and this time you're going to select the product PrinterLogic and Vasion. You'll fill in the information, and part of that information will be the vanity URL. And you'll see that the vanity URL for PrinterLogic matches the vanity URL for Vasion. We aren't allowing those to be two different vanity URLs. So if you already have PrinterLogic customers, you've got a vanity URL for that customer, and you're worried that someone might use that to create a new Vasion account, that will be reserved. So the only person who will be able to use that vanity URL for a Vasion account will be that existing customer. So that's just a little bit of information I wanted you to know. I know it's getting into the weeds a little bit, but I think it's important to understand. So once you've entered the vanity URL, you'll click Next, and you'll choose the license information. How many licenses are you allocating for PrinterLogic, and what are your bundles? And then how many licenses are you allocating for Vasion? And then you'll create the account. Then you'll notice you have PrinterLogic that hasn't been initiated. So like you do today, you'll go into that URL and you'll create the root account, and then you can click on Log into Vasion and create the admin account for Vasion, and you're done. So the other thing I wanted to show you is the Vasion license information that's been added alongside PrinterLogic, so you can see both the usage for PrinterLogic and for Vasion. And so you can see the top section is your license information, how many licenses you have allocated, and you can modify that in this screen. And then the bottom section is your usage, your license usage. So you'll see that calculated based on user for Vasion and based on printer queue for Printer Logic. And the same export capability that you have today for Printer Logic will also be available for Vasion. I really want to thank you all for the opportunity to talk to you about the new Vasion Signature application. We're excited to hear from you. We can't wait to hear your questions, and we're excited to help you succeed to bringing this tool to your customers. We're going to shift over to Q&A now. If you have any questions, please click the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, and we'll turn it back to Katie.
Yeah, we have some questions submitted, so let's just get right into them. So first question is e-signature, or this version of e-signature, is it accepted in Canada?
It is accepted in Canada. We are set up for US only. We are doing some work to get a special server set up in the Canada area so that we aren't sending documents when they need to be certified from the Canadian instance to a US HSM server. So there's just a little infrastructure we're working on, but yes, we're in the process of doing that, and it will be available for Canadian use very soon. Legally, it is accepted in Canada right now.
Okay, great. Thanks. So next question is, knowing that this is currently a standalone product that will eventually integrate with the rest of the Vasion suite, will this integrate with other software platforms outside of the Vasion product line?
Absolutely. So as we continue to grow Vasion Automation Cloud, the first version that you'll see early next year is going to be integrating with our own products. But we are integrating, working on integration with third-party storage. So all of the different storage options you have will have Vasion storage, but will also allow you to integrate with storage applications that you already have. And we're looking for other ways to integrate with other systems as needed. So we're looking for that type of customer feedback. If you have certain applications in mind, please send that information to us. There's an email, msp@vasion.com. We'd love to hear more suggestions for integration, but yes, that is the plan, to make this something that integrates with outside tools as well as integrates within the Vasion products.
Awesome. Thank you. Next question is, can you have it where the end user signs the document and then it gets automatically countersigned by someone and then sent back to the customer, or will signing internally always be a manual process?
Oh, it doesn't automatically sign it, but it can. You can set your process up so it sends it right back to that internal signer who can sign the document. But you have to, with e-signature, you have to show the intent to sign. So you actually have to click, just like you couldn't, if you were doing a wet signature on a document, you would have to be there to sign, or you would have to sign the document. In an e-signature, for it to be legal, you have to actually do that action to sign a document. But you definitely can set it up as part of the process so it automatically goes to that person after it's been signed by the external user.
Okay, great. Good question. Another question we have is, can we get a free 5-pack of licenses so we can use it for all of our contracts and then talk about the solution along the way?
Yeah, I'll let Ethan answer that one.
Yeah, so that is the intent. Some of those details are still being ironed out as we prep to launch this and make it available to you, but similar to what we do with Printer Logic, where you have the 5 licenses available for demo and trialing purposes, that's likely what we're going to be doing with the Vasion product as well.
Excellent. And then this is kind of a technical one, but are e-signatures legally binding?
Yes, e-signatures are legally binding. We comply with the eSign Act, the Uniform Electronic Transactions Act, or UETA, the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, and all signers must agree and consent that they are legally bound by the document. and the Vasion Consumer Act. So there was a link in that when you saw that I agreed, there was a link that will take you to the Vasion Consumer Act so that you can see what that is. But they have to agree to that before they complete the signature request. And yeah, it's accepted in most countries for most documents. So you do have to check within your own state to make sure that the type of document you're sending is allowed to be e-signed. There are some states and federal, like financial, like taxes and things like that. There are still some documents that the government doesn't accept with e-signature, but most contracts and documents are legally binding. So just check with your state regulations if you have a question on a certain type of document.
Okay, and last question. When will this product be available in Canada?
I don't have a date. I will have to get back to you on that. We're purchasing the equipment, the server, to be able to support this in Canada, but I'll have to get back with you on a specific date.
Okay, cool. So soon, but
Soon.
oh, actually, sorry, one more. I currently see one allocated license for each of my existing PrinterLogic clients. Is this a sample outside of the 5-pack just talked about?
Meaning that, and we might need a little more information, but meaning that you see one Vasion signature license allocated already?
I think that's what they're referring to.
Okay.
Doug, you can let us know in the chat if that's, yeah, at printercloudmsp.com. I scroll down and see that listed.
Okay. That could just be something with the UI. It hasn't quite gone live.
Oh, yes. Actually, I do know the answer. Thank you, Ethan. You sparked my memory. Yes, the UI for the usage information is hard-coded at this point. The calculation of that usage is still being worked out, so you can ignore that. That one is a hard-coded number that you're seeing. In fact, you shouldn't be seeing that screen at all, so I will get with the developers and have that turned off until we're ready to turn that on.
Great. And that's all of our time that we have for questions. Thank you all so much for attending today's webinar and sending in such great questions. If you have any further questions or are, ready to go, please get in touch by emailing us at msp@vasion.com and have a great rest of your day.